Over to you, Comrade Thabang.
Thank you very much, Comrade Pule, and to members of the media, thank you very much for the opportunity. The discussion paper I was asked to present to the policy conference is the paper on the changing balance of forces around our national project to transform South Africa into a national, democratic, and prosperous society. The discussion on the balance of forces is what traditionally is part of occasions like this in the ANC, because it offers the organization to track the changes in relation to the strengths of the movement and its weaknesses, and to track the changes in relation to opportunities and threats against the organization's interests. And in today's discussion, we were looking at where we are now as against where we were almost 5 years ago when we were here in our national conference in 2017. Is the ANC stronger? Has it gone weaker? If it has strengthened, it has gone stronger. What has contributed to that? If it has weakened in its strength, what are the contributing factors? What are the threats that have emerged over the last 5 years, just about 5 years ago, and what are the opportunities that over the last, or since the last conference, have emerged for us to expedite transformation in our country? In that discussion, of course, we profiled the point that we must remember that the ANC, over time in its existence, is an organization that believed that the main problem our country was settled with was national oppression, national domination. And that in order to resolve that problem, it was important that South Africa's black majority, blacks in general and Africans in particular, their conditions of life must be attended to. And today, we're talking now almost 28 years since that project, since we've been on the road to change our country with respect to that main contradiction, that main problem, which largely arose as a result of the deprivation of the suffrage to South Africa's majority black populace. But it is precisely because of the extension of the political rights to everyone in our country that you have changes that indeed have occurred within our communities, within our society, because of those who were previously deprived of these changes, today now having access to some of these opportunities that were denied on the basis of race and color. It is a development we're emphasizing to say the ANC has to appreciate that it has had real structural changes within our society. As you would know, research stats tells us that, for instance, a significant development in black communities is that in a period of about a decade, the 10 years between 2003 to 2014, South Africa's black middle class doubled from 7% to 14%. And that today, as we speak, actually, of South Africa's black South Africa's middle class in its totality. The black middle class is the majority of that middle class strata in our society. But these changes, of course, they are bringing in dynamics that are affecting the cohesiveness, the support for the ANC within what used to be the main base of ANC support. It's not something to lament about, because it is indeed an achievement of the ANC policies of the last 28 years that we have this doubling of the middle class strata within our society, especially in black communities. But of course, the discussion also flags in the emerging weaknesses, the weakening of our strength around the state, because this balance of forces, we are tracking it along the traditional 5 centers of power in the ANC strategy and tactics. And namely, we're talking about the state. What is our strength, our command of the state as an instrument that we can use for change. It talks to the economy, the interventions in the country's economy to bring about this transformation. It talks also about the human agency, the motive forces, what we refer to in ANC parlance as the motive forces of our struggle, to say what are the organs of civil society that the ANC is acting in unison with in order to still prosecute the transformation of our country. It also speaks to what we refer to as the ideological struggle, the battle of ideas between ourselves and the adversaries of South Africa's transformation, the way the ANC is envisioning it. And lastly, of course, it talks about the balance of forces around global developments, how the change in the balance, or let me say the changes in the global politics are affecting the ANC's domestic agenda negatively or positively. That's what the discussion is about, and I think that suffices to sketch what the issues are, because I would imagine you have access to the long document on this matter. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Comrade Thabang, for that deliberate explanation on what the paper really covered. I'm sure journalists are now ready to pose questions on areas they may seek clarity on. The floor is now open for questions. Okay, you will come in. Comrades, City Press, balance of forces. No, dealing with real issues here. No. Daily, you are covered on balance of forces. Okay, no. You can go ahead. Your name. Or the first one is not balance of forces, it's credentials. Okay. No, I don't know what is the overall number. When they were presenting us out, is it still, did we get all the delegates we're expecting?
Yes. The credentials indicate that we have the projected numbers according to the plans of the SGO. There are, of course, categories where delegates are more than what was allocated, a number of those categories. So delegates who are non-voting delegates, they are plus minus about 500, plus minus, but that is an average figure in my recollection of the information as it was shared by the Secretary General. They will be able to provide you with the exact figures. The not voting, but participating delegates representing structures, it's almost triple that number. So we are above 2,000 delegates, most certainly, but of course you'll be aware that this also includes other categories of participants who are here in different roles and responsibilities. Thank you very much.
You can deal with the second question.
Okay. How is South Africa's black middle class, what is its disposition towards the ANC? And what is the ANC's take of that segment of our society? The 2017 Strategy and Tactics document, and I apologize to refer you to that document, which may not be available here with us. But in that document, when we were here 5 years ago, the matter was discussed substantively. And it is in the Strategy and Tactics of 2017 where the ANC makes the point that within its own constituency and its structures, there are tendencies and practices that confirms the presence of alien values in the conduct of ANC members. It talked about the problem of crass materialism, which was showing signs within the ranks of the ANC. It talks about distance from the poor or the ordinary masses that was emerging within the organization. So in the strategy and tactics and in this discussion, the negative attributes of the middle class is what is more profiled, because it is a concern in relation to weakening the organization's militancy. However, it is also a matter which is discussed in this document that we are putting before the policy conference. It is discussed in relation to the failure or the weaknesses of the ANC to realize the importance of the middle class, of the middle strata. Because in that middle strata, you have a broad gambit of people who belong to different professions. Different professions there. You have different people who are in different occupations. You have got professionals, doctors, lawyers, everybody else who's a professional there. But you also have small business people, capitalists. They are part of that middle class. But you also have people who have incomes that are giving them a comfortable life, but who are living a very parasitic life. That's why we're talking about the lumpen proletariat. They are part of that middle class. The ANC is raising the point that in the way we are organized in our primary structures, that is the branches, are we able to keep this strata within the ANC fold? Because these professionals, who we have them now in huge numbers, are the very people who the ANC fought to improve their lives. And it is not because they are not hostile to the ANC today because they are doctors. They are doctors because they were made doctors by the ANC, taken to Cuba and all kinds of places. So we should not have branches of the ANC that are designed in a way that it does not lend the organization to easy participation of these middle class, of these professionals within the ANC. And you end up with the ANC branches being largely branches, yes, importantly so, of the working masses, but in huge numbers, the unemployed. And the middle class being not part of the community of the ANC, and its sentiments and its thinking and its perspectives not influencing the direction that the ANC is taking. So that is what I would say represents the kind of attitudes that are being debated in the document. Thank you.
No. Thanks, Comrade Thabang, for that rich input. It's quite empowering to all journalists here. Do we still have any more questions? Okay. Lizega. Can we help the microphone amongst our team so that Comrade Thabang can be able to hear the question?
Just in terms of the projections around 2024, especially here in Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal, of the ANC losing its power base in these two important provinces, will the ANC discuss its regression towards being a rural party, but also in terms of the ANC in light of coalitions? Is the ANC alive to that possibility that it will have to start realizing that coalitions are the future in governance?
No, thank you very much. With respect to, I had something about KZN, and I'm sorry I did not get exactly the point you are raising about.
She spoke about us losing significant municipalities
In KZN.
in KZN.
Okay.
And whether we are now seeing that we're drifting towards becoming a rural party.
Oh.
Alive to that reality.
Okay.
That's the gist, no?
Okay. No, thank you very much for that important question. The stance of the movement towards the development that our support in urban centers is weakening. In this document, what we are raising is that the high levels of joblessness has affected more South Africa's traditional industrial working class, which is your urban communities, formerly settled communities of old, what was referred to as black townships. Unemployment is hitting those communities very badly. And it is happening across provinces. Not only in Gauteng, in KZN, it would be the same thing. We are noting the fact that what is happening in our economy is that South Africa's communities, in a very disturbing way, are being pushed to the margins of the country's economy by the objective market forces in our economy, where in order to optimize profits, business and capitalist enterprises are opting to go for cheap labor, and that cheap labor today, in today's South Africa, is predominantly drawn from non-nationals who are not legal in the country and who are able to offer labor and some of the skills at a more competitive remuneration levels as compared to South Africa's organized labor. That has pushed a significant part of our population out of the economy, and it is a ticking time bomb. And for as long as the phenomena I'm referring to continues, there is no way that the ANC will find it easy to win back the metros that we have lost. And this is not only to KZN as a province, but the same applies everywhere across the country. It's going to be difficult for us to win the metros if in Soweto, in Katlego, in Tembisa, when you drive around, poverty is in your face. You can see houses as you are driving past that there's no chance that there is a person who's working, who's earning an income in that house. That is what is affecting the ANC's support in the cities. And we've got to address this as part of the broader strategies of making the point that indeed we are not pushed to the rural margins of our communities. The point about becoming a rural party. If the ANC becomes a rural party, it would mean the end of the ANC. Because the ANC has, for the longest time of its life, been an urban organization, especially during the time of the years when it was banned an underground organization. It was strong more in the towns and the cities of this country than in the countryside. And it was even an observation that the ANC was criticized for, that the ANC's armed struggle only has managed to gain traction in urban centers, and in the rural countryside, it was very weak. What I'm saying is, it's an organization that has roots in South Africa's urban centers. If it is pushed out of the urban centers, it means that it would mark the process of the weakening of the organization overall.
On coalitions,
yes. Yes, I'm sorry about that. On coalitions, our stance is that coalitions are not and cannot be an enemy to any political organization or party. If that party or organization is driven by principles, meaning it has objectives around which there are bottom lines that defines what the organization stands for. And if those bottom lines can be achieved even in a situation where it is the ANC is in coalition with other parties, by all means, we will do so. It means that there will be a common platform on which the ANC will be in that coalition in any municipality or in any province. But the ANC, it's very clear that there will be no coalition that is not based on a program and on a principled vision of what the sphere or the tier of government where that coalition exists is going to be about. So that is our approach in relation to coalitions. Coalitions will go into coalitions, but when you go into coalitions, there will be a common program, common platform that we use, and the principles of what the ANC stands for cannot be compromised. Thanks.
No, thank you very much, Comrade Thabang. I'm sure that the members of the media are satisfied. As promised earlier, we will be bringing, after Comrade Thabang, we will be bringing Comrade Phoebe to come and share with you what she will have presented at plenary. So we'll be bringing all of them as they conclude. And just to request you, if you want to speak to members of the NEC or provinces, let's please just follow our established protocols. I did indicate that grabbing, we're not going to do it at this policy conference. You request, and then we make sure that we assign them. Because I got to plenary there, members of the NEC are telling us that they are being asked to come and do interviews. We have to work better. Up to so far, we are doing well. So let's maintain that momentum. Thank you very much. Thank you.